Hey, good morning, birds. So it is Tuesday morning. We're going to talk about the conclusion of the Honda Classic and some other things that went around we're going around the golf industry and competitive golf this weekend. LIV. But first, let's talk a little bit about the Honda Classic, get you caught up on the two birds picks, see how everyone's doing. If you watched the previous, it's no surprise Scott has continued his run, so he's still hot, still picking winners, and we'll see if that continues into the AP this week. But we'll talk a little bit about the Honda first. So great tournament. Although I seemingly talked about how it was a lower level field. It didn't have many of the top guys, but you still felt that realm of competition that was going on nearing the end of the tournament. Our first playoff of the year, Chris Kirk, who's been playing some wonderful golf so far this year, and a Scott A pick this week, took it in the first playoff hole against Eric Cole, one of my picks for the week, playing very steady golf. Had his first well, he's a rookie on the tour, so yeah, his highest earning to date, almost $1 million. Eric Cole, $915,000, and Chris Kirk making 1.5 million, and pretty much making him exempt for the rest of the year wherever he wants to be. A good overall tournament. You had some names up there that were not as known in the golf world, but was good to see. Had some storylines up there, like Ryan Gerard making a Monday qualifier to actually come on and come solo fourth and make him pretty much exempt for any tournament that he wants to. Didn't get a lot of FedEx points, actually, because I believe maybe he's still amateur status, but 400, no, it can't be amateur status. Just doesn't qualify for the FedEx Cup yet. But $411,000 for the week ain't bad, and will probably help him get to more tournaments along the year. I'm sure he's probably playing this weekend in the which we are not going to do picks for, which was decided by Wiggy, I, and Scott. Probably playing in the Puerto Rico Open. We'll see. That field is, I believe, just finalizing today, so I will try and wrap my head around what is going to happen there, see if we can get some best bets for our show, our pre-gaming show tomorrow. But this tournament was the first of the Florida swing. You felt people getting kind of comfortable in their bodies in the Florida weather after being in California for 4.5 weeks, and other places before that. You had some guys near the top that haven't seen the top in a while. Had guys like Zach Johnson up there. Shane Lowry was up there, as he should have been. Sepp Straka, the former champ, got a T5, picked it up on his weekend every round in the 60s, but this tournament was 100% Chris Kirk's. Although he did try to give it away on 18, he recovered on the playoff hole, hit one of the most beautiful 110 yards, 60-degree wedge shots into like a gimme range of 2 feet. And Eric Cole was buried in a back bunker after trying to go for the green in 2, 18 being a longer par 5. It played out pretty interestingly, so I'll just play it out for you. Chris Kirk goes first, shoots into the trees on the right of a par 5, blocked by a tree to get to the green, which was good for him because on 18, the just 30 minutes previous to that, he went into the water trying to go for 2 and seal the tournament, being up 1 shot. A lot of people would question that, to say, why did you do it? You know, if he felt his game was on par and he was going to get there, that seals the tournament. He reaches that green in 2, that seals the tournament. Eric Cole ended up making par. He bogeyed, but playoff, Chris Kirk buries himself kind of in the trees, has to pitch out layup to 112 yards. Eric Cole hits just about the same drive he did in regulation, and then hits just blasts. I think he was in between clubs or something, because he blasted a fairway wood about 250, almost 270 into a back bunker, and really didn't leave himself accessibility to the hole. Had a putt for birdie at about 12 to 15 feet range. Couldn't make it, just lipped out. Chris Kirk putts in from his 60-degree, 112-yard shot to 2 feet, putts in for the tournament, and that's all she wrote. I feel like there were some definite letdowns in this tournament, but I think there was a general aura of positivity, although the top guys weren't there. A lot of different people were in the mix, getting points, able to climb the FedEx Cup leaderboard, and that's going to be good ultimately for not only the golf community, but the youth of golf. There were a lot of young guys, a lot of rookies that got an opportunity to play this week. So overall, great week of golf. Although the Honda may not love that it was not a designated event, it still felt like a good competition week of golf. There were a lot of names around it. Again, Chris Kirk, congrats on your win. Back in the winner's circle since, I think he'd had a layoff since 2015, so 8 years. So welcome back to the winner's circle, Chris Kirk. You're very welcomed back, and hope you keep playing some great golf throughout the year. To talk a little bit about our picks here, again, Scott had a week picking the winner. He had 2 missed cuts, so minus 30 between those two, but Chris Kirk throwing out the win for 35 points. He had a round leader and had the low round of the tournament for 45 points, was huge for him. Billy Horschel coming in, he had a first round lead and then also made the cut, so he had 7 points. Lee Hodges with 5 for being a top 25. David Lingmerth had a top 10. He was T10, so that was 10. Came out to 37 for Scott. I reached second. Sung Jae had a letdown week for us, as well as Matt Kuchar. Both of my A's were not so great. Sung Jae just made the cut, really never got it going. There were flashes of times where his game was on, where he would go birdies in a row. Started off at 2 under, but finished at 2 under. Had just a bunch of par rounds after his initial 2 under, and that's not going to get it done. Actually, I think he started 3 under, then was 1 over, made the cut, par, the rest 2 rounds, but that was not great. Matt Kuchar missing the cut was a real letdown. He started hot too. I think he birdied the first 2 holes of this tournament and then just couldn't get it together. Went on a little flash at the end there, but the cut being +1, he could never get back. I think he finished at +4 for his 2 days. Joseph Bramlett had a rush of blood leading the tournament at one time through round 1. His second round wasn't so hot. Third and fourth not as well, but still making a cut, grabbing some points for the FedEx Cup. Good for him. I hope he continues to play some hot golf, because he's been doing some good things. Then we had Ben On, which was my ultimate letdown of a best bet this week. He, oh man, seemingly was going to have a lock of a top 20 and just couldn't hold it together on the final day. Actually bogeyed the 18th to finish T21. I'm sorry about our best bets this week. Svensson and M and On all missed. Ben On was the biggest letdown of that bogey on 18. Only needed to par, and he would have had a top 20 easy, and just couldn't hold it together and dropped to T21. That's that. We already talked about Eric Cole, 34-year-old rookie, my guy, primo sponsored dude, and just going out there and playing some hot golf. Good for Eric Cole. His first, I probably above $500,000 payday. He being on the Corn Ferry Tour, I'm sure he didn't get paid very much for any wins last year, but congratulations, Eric Cole, on the solo second. That's going to take him a long way. I'm sure he would have loved to win this tournament, but there's going to be plenty of opportunity for him in the future. And I believe he snuck into, he got to the Arnold Palmer Invitational because of his status right now. That gets him to 300 FedEx Cup points. Let's see what that brings him to. Inside the top 50, 33. So right now, just outside the top 30 to qualify for the Tour Championship. That's going to go a long way for him. That's really going to go a long way for him on his rookie season on the Tour. And then Aaron Baddeley missing a cut. Go over Wiggy. Wiggy pulled one over my eyes and changed up his lineup. Actually took Joseph Bramlett out of his Bs and went with Lee Hodges instead. But his A's, Sung Jae and Minwoo both made the cut. Wiggy actually had 5 out of 6 cut makers this week, but they were all either top 25s or made cuts. So Sung Jae made cut, Minwoo made cut, Lee Hodges made cut, Jonathan Vegas a top 25. Sorry, Lee Hodges was a top 25. Kevin Tway was a made cut, and then Austin Cook a miscut to only bring him to 1 point. So Scott extends his lead after the Honda to us. Being at 406, Wiggy still holding on to second place ahead of me, but we're moving forward. Wiggy at 91, Andrew at 65. We're moving our way forward. We got 2 designated events coming up, which are times 2 points, not times 2 the cut. And then, in a matter of 5-ish weeks, we're looking at the Masters. So we've got 3 designated events in between now and the Masters, so we're going to have to pick it up to get to Scott by then, but I have no question that we're going to be able to hold this up. So we talked about the Honda. Let's talk about the other tournament that was going on around the golf community. I can't lie to any of you. I maybe caught 30 seconds of it, flashed it on my TV, and didn't really catch my eye after I saw the leaderboard. It was the final day. So that was the LIV Invitational Tournament at the Mayakoba. They have their established fields, their established teams, trying to make it just a team thing now, and didn't seemingly go well this week, at least in viewership. I think there was, at times, the rating was maybe just above a 0.5, which is not good. Not good for the first tournament. I'm sure it could be various different things, but ultimately it's probably going to help them with sponsors. So if that's going to happen, that happens. The winner was Charles Howell, Chucky 3 sticks. I think he beat the field by 3 strokes, and obviously trying to be more of a team-oriented thing. The Crushers won with which is Bryson's team, I believe. Chucky 3 sticks, Paul Casey, and then I don't know who the last one is, but Charles Howell seemingly played good golf. I don't know. I couldn't tell you because I turned it on and saw the leaderboard. Peter Uline was in second and then turned it off. None of the other big name guys were up there. I did notice something, and don't be mad at me for saying this if anybody's DJ's fan. DJ looks like he packed on the pasta this week. He really was, I wouldn't say he looked out of shape, but it just looks like he got bigger. Carrying a full kind of scroungy beard. I don't know, guys. It didn't wet my whistle. It seemingly didn't wet anybody else's whistle because the viewership was way down. I don't know if that's the CW or WGN partnership. I just think there was, looking at the ratings, the Honda had a higher rating than LIV, and coming off of two huge designated events with the Waste Management or the WM and Genesis, LIV needed a big week and they did not get it. And who's to say that that could just be the opening tournament and nobody was really watching, or nobody was watching out for it. There wasn't a whole lot of advertisement that I saw going around, other than maybe on social medias where I don't know what sort of people they're trying to garner, but not getting any sort of outside the golf community push, outside and even inside the golf community push to watch that tournament. It's going to be an interesting year, and the money won't run dry, but certainly if you have no fans and you've got no interest, what are you playing for? That's the other thing of, these guys have all this guaranteed money. What are they playing for? Why do they need to come out and play their best or try that hard for their teams, for their, you know, I don't know. I seriously don't know. It was not a good week for LIV Golf. And I feel like it was a good week for the PGA, even just to see that. And to have a playoff go down to, or a tournament go down to a playoff with a contested tournament and people that were, not so seen come out and play well. PGA is doing everything right with their designated events. They're keeping their competition up. They're keeping everybody on the edge of their seat with what's going on and what's playing. This next upcoming week and the week after, I'm sure, is going to just absolutely solidify that the PGA is the premier golf league in the world, and no one else is going to question that. So that's what happened. I don't think there's going to be much competition through the year. Who knows, though? There's not going to be any, unless they can get world golf rankings for LIV. LIV might just be what it is. It's just an offshoot. It's just the USFL. It's just the XFL. And you might have some names there now, but they might, after their contracts are up for guaranteed money, who's to say that this is going to last after those run dry. So that's pre-gaming, kind of post-gaming for all of you of this week's tournament. We hope to have a good one upcoming. I'm hoping to get Scott on for the for the Arnold Palmer pre-gaming tomorrow. We'll see. But I'll catch you all later, birds. Have a good one.